All right, so practice exam 1, multiple choice. So far, we've got 23, 24, and 27. All right, let's talk about it here. Let's see. Get my questions. So, 23. A polynomial function of ax to the fourth. Okay, so A and B aren't 0. Okay, each of the zeros has multiplicity 1. We have an x-intercept at 17, whatever, comma 0. Okay. A 0 is also one of the imaginaries, is negative 0.478 minus 0.801i, which if on statements must be true. Okay, now remember, the degree of this thing is 4, which means there have to be 4 zeros. Imaginaries only come in pairs. You will never have negative 0.4 minus 0.8i without negative 0.478 plus 0.8i, okay? They come in pairs. Complex roots, imaginary roots, come in pairs. Think when you use the quadratic formula, don't you always get 3 plus or minus 7i over 16? That kind of answer, always. They come in pairs. So if this thing has 4 answers, 2 of them are imaginary, 1 is known to be real, doesn't the other one have to be real? I don't know where it is, I don't know what it is, but it does not have 3 x-intercepts, that's false. Negative 0.478 plus is a 0 of k. The equation k of x has 4 real zeros, false. The graph of k is tangent to the x-axis at that point. No, because everything has multiplicity 1. So the answer has to be D. Multiplicity 1 means it passes through. Multiplicity 2 would be it is tangent or it bounces. You good with that? All right, 24. This is no calculator. We have these equations and we want to know where they intersect. So for 24, did you set them equal to each other? So log plus log equals log. Does that make sense to everybody that I would do that to find out where they intersect? Your temptation is to drop the logarithms. No, until you do what? What do you have to do first? Put those two together. You are only allowed to drop if it's log equals log. So we're going to combine those two first. And how will I combine them? Well, it's going to be a multiplication. So it's going to be x squared plus 2x minus 3. Check my arithmetic. I don't want to mess that up. Is that the right FOIL? Plus 390. Yeah, I think that's good. Now I can drop these and solve this equation. So x squared plus x minus 12. Which factors? So x is negative 4 or x is 3. Would you agree with that? But time out. If I put negative 4 right here in this equation, what's going to happen? That's going to be negative. Can I take the logarithm of a negative? No. So this one's extraneous. 3 will work. So whatever answer says A would be the answer. Good? And then 27. the questions that's usually free response. And here it is in a multiple choice. All right, so let's see. The height in inches. Yep. Figure gives the position. Okay, so at time 0, we're at 12. Am I reading that right? The pedal's 8-inch arm defines a circular motion. If the patient pedals 1 revolution per second, which of the following could be an expression for the height in inches of the bicycle pedal above level ground at time 2? Okay, so 1 revolution per second. Let's look at some points here. 0, 12. When is it going to be at 12 again? Well, certainly it'll be at 12 again after 1 second, won't it? Because that's going to be a revolution. But where is it exactly halfway in between those? So like where would it be at 0.5? Isn't it 12 at 0.5 also? Because that's the midline. And then at 0.25 and 0.75, it's at its highest and lowest point. So do I know which way it's going? Looks like it's going down. So at a quarter, it's going to be straight down, which will be 4. And here it will be straight up, which will be 20. Now from that, I need to write an equation. Okay, so did you think about plotting these maybe and looking at it? So 0, 12, and 0.25, 4, 0.5, 12, which are midline, 0.75, and 1. Okay, let's write a sine equation. I know it's plus 12, so that's that part I'm good with. What's my amplitude? What's out here in front? My amplitude, I'm going up and down how many? 8. And actually it's going to be negative if I start right there. What's my period? My period's 1, isn't it? So 2 pi divided by that number has to be 1. So I think when I solve that, this number has to be 2 pi. The part I have graphed has no phase shift. Do I have an equation that looks like that? 12 minus 8 sine 2 pi t. I should use t here. But I think it's d. How does that look to you? Good? Anything else that you found in the multiple choice?
Did you do 87?
87. Let's see, 87. That would be a calculator question, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know, do I need a calculator for it? Let's see. This is kind of the same thing.
Oh, never mind. I figured out I did it wrong.
You sure? It looks kind of like the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, anybody else? Yeah.
82.
82. Okay, so, all right, let's look at what we've got. So we've got some function that looks like this. I hope my copied that right. And I know that S of 4 is 300,000, and my job is to find S of 12. Well, the problem is S of 12 would just put in 12, but I don't know what K is. So luckily, they have given me this point, so I can find K by plugging in that point. So I'll say 300,000 equals 500,000 over 1 plus 0.4 E. Now, T is 4, so that's going to be 4K. Does that make sense to you? Now I'm going to solve that equation. We have a calculator. Could we type that in as one equation, this in as another equation, and find where they intersect? Absolutely could. You could also do this one by hand if you wanted to, but since we have a calculator, we could do that to find K. Once you find K, then you're going to plug that number in right here, and then plug in 12 to that. Just because it's good practice, this could be a no calculator question with different numbers. To solve that by hand, you would multiply both sides by the denominator. I have no idea if I got the right number of zeros. Probably do that on my calculator. That's not right anyway. I'm just gonna check it. Yeah. And then you would subtract the 300,000. This is if you were doing it without a calculator. And then divide by the 12,000. And then ln both sides. Remember how to do that, yeah. So, but you can also do it graphically with your calculator. Okay? Anybody else have anything from the multiple choice? All right, let's go ahead and go over the free response and then we'll take our quiz. So what did you think about the free response? I'll tell you what my answers were. I don't want to open them all up because they're all together. But for 1A, I ultimately came up, I've shown a little bit of work, but I ultimately came up with 2.197. Sound okay? If not, we can do it. That's what I came up with. For part 2, or double I thing there, I got x equals 2, x equals 4. I said f of 2 is 3 and f of 4 is 3. That sound about right? All right, for, I guess it's B, I got 4.482. And for B double I said the limit as x approaches infinity of g of x is infinity. For C, I said no, and that's all I said. Okay, I said no, and then my reason in double I is, I wrote something to the effect that f of 2 is 3, f of 4 is 3. That means that f inverse of 3 is 2, and f inverse of 3 is 4, and that can't be, because I can't have 2 outputs for the same input and be a function. This is not 1-to-1. So I said, since f of x is not 1 to 1, its inverse is not a function, since the same first coordinate produces multiple second coordinates. That okay? And that was the end of part 1, right, number 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so, go ahead and set that stuff aside, we're gonna take our little quiz, and then we will continue working.